Hi Capricorn, welcome to your new Love in May tarot reading. It's Rena here. It's raining here. That's a private joke. So yeah, I started this reading yesterday and I had to stop because I got interrupted, and so I'm just starting from scratch, and I kept all the cards sitting here overnight. So the heart of the matter is the Seven of Pentacles. This is a card of waiting to see if the crops will produce a harvest. And so this is the farmer's card. It's really, your pentacles being an earth sign, but it's really about that assessment as you put in energy into something to see if it's going to give you the desired results. Now, what that suggests to me is that some Capricorns already have somebody in their sights that they're interested in. One of the big places that I can think of is at work, because nowadays it seems like the workplace is the one place that you are consistently exposed to certain people, and you can develop these relationships very gradually. There's a sense of something developing gradually with the Seven of Pentacles, that it's not, oh yeah, we're going to do this. So it's being very, I don't know if cautious is the word, but patient. And I do associate caution and patience with Capricorn. Prudence. That's another word we don't hear much these days. Not expecting the world right away. So if you meet somebody, you don't make a snap judgment. Okay, this person has no possibility to be in my life, and this person does. But kind of like over time, watching the person and looking at how they act and their attitudes and how you mesh with them, and then maybe, depending on the kind of person you are, saying, hey, would you like to go out and have a bite to eat, and just sticking a toe in and doing things very gradually. And so it makes me think that there's one of those kinds of relationships in your life. Maybe it's somebody that you are connected to through another person. Like you have a friend who has a friend and who tags along with you, and you just have gotten to know this person over time. But it's like you're starting to get more and more interest in this person romantically, or a neighbor or something like that. You're coming from a past that's represented by the Ten of Swords. So this is a card of betrayal, and it's a card, I think, of disappointment, in the sense that somebody that you may have put your faith in let you down. Not just about betraying you, but maybe betraying themselves, maybe not living up to their own standards. And so that may have felt very disappointing at the time. But perhaps, one thing about the Ten of Swords I want to say that's probably more true for this particular reading is that it can mean hitting bottom, or the worst is over. Okay, so yeah, on a more hopeful note, if you have experienced something that the Ten of Swords represents, you may have gone through quite a bit of grief over it, but recently you've turned a corner, and this is why the Seven of Pentacles is appearing here, because you are moving on. So that would be wonderful if that's the case. The higher message is the Six of Swords, and this is a card of leaving what doesn't serve you, This can be actual physical moving to a new location. And this is in the spiritual position. So it could be actually saying, Capricorn, that by leaving where you are, that will be where you meet the next love of your life. So perhaps in that context, the Seven of Pentacles is merely that incremental positivity you've gained in your life. So it might not be directed towards any one person, but towards, well, except for yourself, where you are just like, maybe you've been making positive changes little by little and noticing the difference that it's made in your life. And yet that's the final thing that you need to do. Now, obviously, other factors have to support that. This is a general reading. And I'm not, I don't say these things to pat myself on the back to say, oh, everybody's just going to do whatever I say. But by the same token, I'm aware that sometimes people are very influenced by others. And that's something that you have to really stop doing. I don't think Capricorns are top on that list, though. And one reason is because you are a cardinal sign, and you tend to have your, you tend to be self-empowered quite a bit. But I still want to say it. Everyone is responsible for their own choices and who they listen to. But when it comes to anything with a spiritual topic, I tend to err on the side of caution and remind people, please do not take these types of things seriously. Look at the themes that they represent and see how they apply to your own life specifically. Because anybody who is a reader who's dealing with as many millions of people for one group as they are, that would be foolish to just listen to them. But perhaps it's something that you already were planning on doing, and it's just kind of like giving you a second thumbs up, or I guess it would be the first thumbs up, but kind of validating your choice maybe. Or if you have been resistant to it, but you've had some sort of offer, maybe you might reconsider it. But think about this. Think about people that you know or that you've read about where they go off to college and they meet the man or woman of their dreams, and they end up getting married to, cohabitating with this person, raising a family in some cases, and until they leave this earth, and they might be together for 50 years, and they met in college, so they had to move away. In most cases, of course. But some people who found their soulmate in a different country because they were working someplace else. And if they had not done that, they would have not met that person. So just think about it that way. But obviously, moving so that you can meet somebody is, you should have more than that on your mind when you're moving. But what crosses you is the World card. So this kind of goes along with that Six of Swords, because it's saying that you're not ready to close a chapter in your life. So we have with the Ten of Swords, that could be that chapter that needs to fully be closed. And you may be implementing things in your life, Capricorn, that are helping you to get over whatever it is, but you still haven't gotten fully over it. Let's look at what the advice is. The advice is the Five of Wands. And sometimes this is what is coming in. Now this can be conflict, but this can be assertion. You can see there are multiple people in this battle, if you will. And let me give you an example. Let's say that you are coming off of a divorce and you're wanting to meet somebody new, but you really are still kind of upset about a divorce. The Five of Wands in that situation may suggest that you have to kind of like be willing to jump in the fray. Maybe there's a child custody situation, or what's that other thing? Child support. And you have, up till now, been rather passive. I can't imagine a cardinal sign being passive, but maybe you feel like if I don't fight this person will realize that they made a mistake and come back to me. Who knows? Who knows what people think when they're in that state of mind? The Five of Wands is about being very bold, and wands are about independence. You may have to fight for your independence in order for the World card to be fully activated, where you are breaking free from the past. I mentioned to another sign that I think this is going to be the last time that I do separate love readings for singles and relationships. I thought that was a good idea, but then when I do the singles readings, I seem to inevitably come across situations where it still is involving a relationship, maybe a past relationship, but it's still affecting the person's ability to move on. So I'm beginning to think that it's kind of redundant to do separate singles readings, because we're not that compartmentalized. Things can affect us that are coming from other areas. So the other thing as advice could be step into the fray, jump into the fray. I was, what came into my mind is like a singles nightclub or something, where I don't even know if they have those anymore, like a pickup joint, but any kind of situation where with the Seven of Pentacles, you may be kind of like off to the side and assessing things, being overly cautious, and you need to just jump in the fray and let the chips fall where they may, and not worry about the reaction from somebody else, which you may be concerned about because you don't want your pride to be hurt, or you don't want to be rejected, which makes sense. But there's a boldness with the Five of Wands, and there are other people there. So if you're looking for new love, it might be that you're being overly cautious or slow to go after it. But I like, for all of those other cards, I like this one. I've been getting this card a lot. The Sun card. This is love. This is experiencing that sense of healing. And the thing about like the World card, the Ten of Swords and the Six of Swords is, I was thinking about this recently, that when something ends, it's sad. It's sad because it'll never be again. And sometimes when I think of it in my own personal life, I think, gosh, how this is like really difficult to contemplate that this is actually happening. And sometimes it seems like people are so, I don't know, they seem to be blasé about it, like it doesn't really matter. And it's like, wow, I mean, even if you were in a marriage that ended badly, and with the Ten of Swords, excuse me, I could think of somebody getting cheated on, for instance, betrayed. Or the person saying, sorry, I'm in love with somebody else. Maybe they haven't cheated yet, but they are telling you that they have met somebody else. Let's say something like that happened to you. Even with something that traumatic for most people experiencing it, it's still sad because you probably remember good times. If you have children, you remember the good times you had with them and your ex. So it's kind of like we're kind of conditioned to just think, oh, it's just no big deal, move on, and it's not like that. It's not that easy. So, and part of the reason it's not that easy is because if you have any sentimental feelings about the past, you don't want to move on. You want to have them. And what you have to realize is that they're still there. All of those things, even as memories, are still real. Even if on the outside it looks different, it looks altered, you will never lose the fact that you had that time. And you don't need the proof of it in the outside world. So, yeah, so healing from something that may have happened, and that comes maybe through this new relationship. Perhaps the person is a Leo. Who knows? But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, Capricorn. And if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.